happen for Syracuse today because he has such a big body, 6'5", 220. What's unique about him and his ability to play the game is he's a pass-first guy. You usually don't see that with a guy his size.
Number 10, Syracuse, trying to make their way back to national glory, and we're underway in the 2019 season. Danny Varello fighting for position. And Syracuse appears to have won the first face-off of 2019, but wait a minute. A lot of contact on the side, and Colgate actually takes the first possession. Brent Kennedy fighting. That's number 17 in white, and a flag quickly into the season, not even 30 seconds in. Just appeared to be a little too much contact to let them play. That's first-year head coach Matt Carwick coming away from Notre Dame 6 seasons as an assistant with the Irish, playing his first game against the number 10 Syracuse Orange. Kennedy with a little bit of a high stick came in, the redshirt sophomore, 5'11", out of Ridgewood, New Jersey. So Kennedy called for the penalty early. He'll go to the box. And Colgate will take over.
That was some good action early on here in this game. You can see the emotion right away. Both these teams, first game of the season, coming out hungry, looking to make something happen right away. Right from the opening whistle on that face-off, both teams getting right after it.
Couple guys to look out for. We already mentioned Cleveland. That's number 18. Number 5, Mike Hawkins, moved to the midfield to start this game, usually in attack. Had 30 goals last season for the Raiders. These two teams played at the very end of last season. It's the Syracuse defense. Tyson Bomberry coming away with the forced turnover. Hits the deck and is swarmed by the Raiders. Finally, the whistle blows. And Syracuse takes over. The penalty is released as well. So great job by Tyson Bomberry to make some things happen on the first defensive possession.
Yeah, that's ideally not a very good play there by Colgate. They got the man-up opportunity. And speaking with Coach Carwick this week, he talked about their sticks. They're going to be really sharp with their sticks. They've been playing indoors here in the preseason. They've only been out on a full field 3 times so far this year, so surprising to see that early drop in their man-up possession.
There's Nicky Pekovic, called on the push right there. I'll go to the penalty box for a little bit. 30 seconds, so Syracuse with a quick man-up opportunity, where last year they scored 38% of the time. No more Brendan Bomberry, who was the man-up specialist, scoring from just on the doorstep pretty much automatically for Syracuse. Quick pass inside, and the shot is blocked in front of the net. Great job by Connor Mullen, the junior, to stonewall David Lipka on the doorstep.
You're David Lipka there. I think you got to take your time. You had enough time to catch the ball, take a step in front of the cage, increase your angle, and then bury that ball to the back of the net. He tried to release it really quickly and put it right into the goaltender's stick.
Keep in mind, this year, some new rule changes, which we'll get to in further depth as we go along, but the main one being the shot clock, an 80-second shot clock in college lacrosse this year, which includes a 20-second window to clear the ball. So within that first 20 seconds of the shot clock, the team must clear or they lose possession.
They should have put this rule in a long time. It's great for the game of lacrosse. It's going to make it much more exciting for the fans here in the Carrier Dome and across the country to watch the game of lacrosse, be more entertaining on our ACC broadcast, and the players are going to have a lot more fun playing the game now too. Up-tempo, playing the game the way that it should be.
About 15 seconds to shoot. Cleveland forces it, and another turnover for Colgate. Syracuse defense staying stout, but Cleveland comes away with it again. There's that quick stick work you talked about, Ryan. This Colgate team has been working hard inside on a short field, and that was an impressive feed inside as well, but Brown couldn't finish. Griffin Brown, who had 34 goals last year, now in his junior season out of Virginia. The shot clock is going to push the tempo of college lacrosse. Teams can't hold it quite as long. And of course, there was a shot clock, but it wasn't enforced from the beginning of the possession. Now it's 80 seconds. They had that when you were playing. How many more goals would you have had in your career?
Well, I don't know. It seemed to happen just after I graduated from Syracuse that teams started to slow the ball down, and it became, kind of a mindset for the opposing teams to slow down offenses. But when I was going to school, all the teams were run and gun.
Hoskinson over to Pektovic. He couldn't handle the pass, but regains control with 25 to shoot. So here's where it starts to come and play, and this is what Matt Carwick was talking to us about earlier in the week, as a nice shot from Colgate, but saved by Drake Porter, making his first start in goal this season, replacing Dom Madonna last year. Matt Carwick said to us, as Kennedy's going to get a chance on the transition opportunity, instead we'll back it out, had it knocked out of his stick, Syracuse retains possession. He said that they want to get as many shots as they can up. This is what the shot clock is made for, and the more opportunities that you have and to speed the game up, you're going to limit the transition opportunities now for a team like Syracuse, who talent-wise probably has a little bit more than the Raiders.
Yeah, he wanted high-quality shots, good play shots, but he certainly wanted to see a lot of shots coming out of the Colgate Red Raiders when they were on the offensive end. So far they've gotten off quite a few, and they've seemed to be pretty up-tempo and looking to score goals.
Jamie Trimboli, who's now become a staple of this Syracuse offense with the ball, attacking the cage. Nice shot again, turned away by Connor Mullen. A couple early saves for Mullen to preserve this 0-0 game.
In order to be successful here today for Colgate, Mullen's got to have a big game. He's had a couple really nice stops. That was a huge one on Trimboli. Great shot placement. Tried to put it through the 5-hole, and Mullen was there to shut the door. Big-time save.
Trimboli was a preseason All-American honorable mention this year after a couple of tremendous seasons here in Central New York. 21 goals a year ago. Here's a shot for Colgate, and it goes through. James Cadigan gets the Raiders on the board first this year. It's 1-0 Colgate ahead of Syracuse.
This really got to have your head on a swivel here if you're the Syracuse defense. Mellon just steps out, try to shut down that dodging midi coming down the side that didn't have a very great angle, didn't need to leave his guy that much, and he left Cadigan to bury that ball to the back of the net. So that's a big-time goal by Colgate, gets him on the board 1-0, and exactly the way that you want to start as a visiting team coming into the Carrier Dome, scoring first.
Keep in mind, Drake Porter in his first game in net, 5'11 junior out of Ontario, but when talking to John Desko before this game, he said, we've got 5 guys that are really all on the same level of play, so I don't really know how long Drake Porter's going to have. If he does surrender a couple goals early, there are guys behind him who are ready to play.
Yeah, I would say goals that are, his responsibility, and that particular one where Cadigan just scored, that's on the Syracuse defense. That shot was from 5 yards in front of the cage, point blank. So that's not Drake's fault on that one. Syracuse got to get the slide packages going a little bit better and stay on their man in front of the cage.
Malcolm Feeney wins his second face-off already. The 5'9", 200-pound senior replaces Connor Orr, who led the team in face-offs and ground balls a year ago. It was a face-off unit that ranked top 10 in the country, number 9 overall. See those shots on goal. Each team getting them up quickly, just a couple minutes in. Bad pass, a lot of contact. Colgate keeps it. Cleveland now. There's that big body. You can see the length, just a little bit taller than Tyson Bomberry, number 18 in white. Hawkins attacks and turned away by Porter. Colgate retrains with a fresh shot clock. So now here's where we think we'll see more of Cleveland, at the X, where he can facilitate more for his teammates. Last year he had 31 assists, which led the team and was top 20 in the nation. Using his frame, probing. Cleveland finds the back of the net. Sam Cleveland's first goal of the year puts his team up 2.
Well, you can see there Coach Desko's extremely hot on the Syracuse sidelines. Looked like Cleveland got away with a little warding off with his left arm, getting to the middle of the field. But like we talked about, in the pregame here, he was going to be a matchup problem. He's going against Bomberry, who's also a big body, but Cleveland had a little bit of a quicker step there, getting to the middle of the cage, and Syracuse has to send a slide there to stop the big man.
Not the start that Syracuse, who's number 10 in the country, going inside lacrosse, was hoping for. Danny Varello is yet to win a face-off early on in this game. It's 2-0 in favor of Colgate. And it will now be 3-0 as Colgate seem to have possession, and now they will pick it up. scooped up by Blumenberg, who's one of the leaders on this team, a senior. Preseason All-Patriot League selection is number 22 in Crimson. Colgate finished last season at 7-8 after losing to Syracuse in the final game of the regular season. And John Desko says it's a different feel when you play Colgate first versus when you play them last. They have a little bit more motivation because they have a lot more to play for.
Absolutely. Late in the season, they're pretty much already done. Their tournament hopes have not really been around anymore at that point. Graduating the next day, so you get down a couple late in the season, you kind of tend to fold up the tents. That's certainly not going to be the case here today. A lot of excitement out of Colgate, and they've come into the Dome and showed that they're ready to play today.
Cleveland ripped another one, sailed errant, so 30 seconds to shoot as Colgate backed it up. Here's Cadigan, who scored the first goal of the two-goal barrage for the Raiders. Right now it's 2-0, as you can see. Colgate over number 10, Syracuse. Andrew Helmer defending at the X. Cleveland will rip a low shot, had his hands free for just a second. Looked like it was enough time and space, but instead it sails just past the goal. Connor Mullen, who stopped a couple shots early. 1 second to shoot for Colgate. They won't get a shot off, so shot clock expires. Syracuse takes over. Here's a chance to climb back in it.
Yeah, you notice Colgate, they dumped the ball to the corner on that, so when the shot clock's getting low, you want to dump the ball out of the end line. So the Syracuse team's got to take their time. They go get the ball off the end line. I saw a couple preseason games this year. Shot clock's winding down, expiring, and the opposing team shoots it right to the goalie.
Syracuse trying to get that clear within 20 seconds. Can't do it. Turn it over. Back to the Raiders. So now it's up to the Syracuse defense to continue to stop Colgate until the offense can find its footing early on in this game one of season 2019.
Well, so far it's been kind of the in-between-the-lines stuff where Syracuse is getting beat. The scrums on the face-off has been advantage Colgate. The clear game has been advantage Colgate. So Syracuse got to do a better job in between the lines and start clearing the ball and giving their offense an opportunity. The only time that we've seen an offensive set really was that man-up opportunity.
Hoskinson attacks the cage. Porter's there to turn it away. Brown recovers. A fresh 80 now for Colgate. And they're executing exactly what first-year head coach Matt Carwick said they would be doing, taking a lot of shots, 9 already in this ball game, and have 2 to show for it. There's another one, but Porter's there again. The junior stands his ground and keeps this at a 2-0 game.
Tell you what, so far right now, 33, Drake Porter's been on fire. He's made some big saves. This thing could be a 5-0 game right now if it wasn't for 33 and some of these saves he's been coming up with.
Solomon controls for Syracuse, but keep your eye on number 2 in white. That's Griffin Cook, who's getting his first action of his career. A freshman, 5'7", 166, from right here in Syracuse, went to Jamesville DeWitt.
Griffin Cook is one of those impact freshmen. He's going to have a big impact on this Syracuse team right away.
Solomon working his way inside. And could not find any space, so he'll reset it with 35 to shoot. What will Syracuse do to respond? Stephen Rafis, who led the team in points a year ago, had 20 goals, 28 assists in his redshirt sophomore season. Another shot is turned away. Connor Mullen just told Bradley Voigt, stay out of here.
That is a big-time save right there. Anytime a goaltender can come into the Dome and make a stop like that, that gives your team huge momentum right there. Syracuse already in a 2-0 hole. That would have been a big-time goal, but Mullen shut the door.
Connor Mullen, who was pulled early last season, then put back in, started the final 10 games of the year, and really played well down the stretch in some big wins. Colgate, as I said, was 7-8, but they went 3, then they lost 3, win 3, lost 3, and then their last 3 they went 1-2 to get to that record. So they were an up-and-down team a year ago under Matt Murphy. Now, under first-year head coach Matt Carwick, it already seems like there's energy to this program. Another shot opportunity, sails just wide right. That was off the stick of Matt Donovan, the senior, but Colgate keeps it.
That was a great move right there, by Donovan. Awesome, quick first step, great shot, speed dodge from behind.
And Ryan, you look the shot disparity. 10 shots for Colgate, 4 for Syracuse. We expected to see a lot of shots for the Raiders, but then again, this is the first game of the year. There are nerves. There are a lot of emotions. How do you quell that here in the first quarter? And as the game gets on and goes on, you start to play more into your rhythm.
Yeah, I think Syracuse is still trying to find their way right now, for sure, Like I talked about, it's been the face-off battles right now. It's been in between the lines, clearing the ball. So, Colgate's had the possession or had the ball a lot more in the offensive end. Therefore, they've had a lot more shots. So Syracuse does, to your point, need to settle down, get their offensive unit out there, and produce some high-quality shots.
Brendan Curry's in the game. He now has the ball changed from number 10 to number 16 because his father, Todd, a 3-time All-American here at Syracuse, wore the number 16. Ryan Simmons had it a year ago. Now it's Curry. Let's see if Curry can cook something up by himself. Can't find any space, and a bad pass looking for Trimboli will sail out of bounds. So another turnover for Syracuse. The Colgate defense is playing very well early on.
We got to have expectations there for Curry. He's entered his second year at Syracuse. He's on the first line midfield unit. Got to step away from pressure right there and make sure that you do a great job passing the ball over to Trimboli. And you can't have unforced turnovers like that in a big game like we have here tonight.
Colgate has jumped out to an early 2-0 lead, courtesy of James Cadigan and Sam Cleveland. Time of possession has been well in favor of the Raiders as well. They've had it on their offensive end on the field for the majority of this contest as the shot sails wide from Hoskinson. 35 seconds to shoot for the Raiders. The new shot clock, 80 seconds this year, starts at the beginning of the possession. Hoskinson working his way inside. Here's Cleveland. He already has a goal today. Tries one behind his shoulder, and it just missed the net. Colgate keeps it.
Colgate's doing a great job on the offensive end right now. One ball carrier's got the ball. He's initiating pretty hard, but all 5 guys behind him are moving.
Hoskinson scores again for the Raiders. And just like that, Colgate's up a hat trick. Duncan Hoskinson, 16 goals a year ago. Just a little shimmy shake and puts it in the back of the net. Colgate is up big early on in the Carrier Dome. Back inside the Carrier Dome, number 10 Syracuse is struggling early on against local rival Colgate. 3-0 is the score with 1:18 to play in the first quarter. John Desko told us head, heart, and hustle. You need to use the head part, and early on it's really been the hustle and the physical play between these two teams.
Yeah, they're both excited to play the game. This has been a great start for Colgate for sure. It's been physical play, but you see at the tail end of all of those clips, it's the maroon jerseys that are coming up with the loose balls. So Syracuse maybe get away from so much contact and focus more on getting the ball in your stick and getting an offensive possession. So therefore you can put a ball to the back of the net. They desperately need to get a goal here, down 3-0.
Jacob Fopp is in for Danny Varello for the Orange on the face-off. It's been 3-0 in favor of Colgate at the X as well. Fopp with a good battle, and he wins it for the Orange. Gets decked from behind, no call, and now here's a late flag coming in. Looked like contact from behind. I'm assuming that's what the call will be.
Yeah, it's a push with possession there.
2-5, 30-second push. Red, 2-5, 30 push.
So it's going to be Nick Salameda going to the bench, the long stick midi. As Fopp got possession right here and shoved down. That's just not right.
Well, we'll see if Syracuse can take advantage here on the man up. Awesome set on their first go with this man up unit. Got a great shot. And we'll see if they can do it again. This would be a big one for them.
16 man up goals a year ago and one early on this season. Brendan Curry finds Twine and brings Syracuse within 2.
Great catch and shoot right here by Curry. Watch how quickly he releases the ball. Young players at home watching the game, he had his stick up as the ball was in the air from Trimboli. He was stepping towards the ball in the air. He caught it and finished up with a great shot directly in front of the cage. Scores a big-time goal for the Cuse.
Curry's first of the season after his freshman year where he scored 10 goals, and Fopp stays out there for Syracuse on the draw. Here's the face-off. Fopp fighting. Kennedy couldn't come away with it, and now Feeney chases it down and gains possession for the Raiders. 4-1, the advantage for Colgate at the face-off X, and a timeout called by Matt Carwick. Syracuse brought it within 2, courtesy of Brendan Curry on the man-up opportunity. Just got enough of his hands free to find the back of the net. Now Colgate has a chance to respond where they've scored 3. What has impressed you from this Colgate offense in the early going?
Well, I think they're doing a great job off the ball. The 5 guys that don't have the ball in their stick are doing an excellent job moving, trying to find passing lanes, and it's allowing the ball carrier, if he gets a little bit of a step on his defenseman, seems like the Syracuse slide package right now, because of all that movement behind the ball, is slow to come, or it's catching them off guard a little bit.
We've talked about the shot clock. You see 76 to shoot for Colgate. What about the dive roll? Player can leave his feet now, land in the crease, but must be going away from the net. Can't face the net. The stick can face the net, but the body cannot. How much of an effect do you think this has really mentally on the players as they go towards the cage?
Well, we haven't seen one yet in tonight's game, but it's certainly an exciting play. I remember from the years that I was playing, you could dive. I remember, Dougie Knight, who played at Virginia. He was one of the best in the business at getting his body in front of the cage and diving out. So it's very exciting. It's great for lacrosse, I think. It's bringing that excitement back the same way that the shot clock is. So I think that the Rules Committee did a great job implementing a couple things that are going to make, or a couple rules that are going to make the game a lot more enjoyable to watch and a lot more enjoyable to play.
You weren't a big airborne guy? You didn't like to go airborne?
I like to land in there, but I didn't really jump too high. Could probably put a little piece of paper underneath my vertical jump.
That's all that matters. Get the phone book under there. You're good to go. Not to mention the third rule that's different this year is the substitution box going from 20 yards to 10. How much of an effect do you think that has, mostly in transition?
I think it's got a little bit of effect to the whole game for sure. It's going to tighten things up a little bit. Won't give either team as much of an advantage as you once had. So, again, another rule that I like.
Syracuse down 3-1 to Colgate last year when they met. It was a completely different story back on May 5th, 2018. Syracuse 17, Colgate 5. Jacob Buttermore came on and had a hat trick late in that game. All right, final 30 seconds of this first. Colgate has controlled the quarter. Errant pass tipped around, and Syracuse nearly came away with a turnover. And now they do. Fusco picks it up, crosses midfield, 10 seconds to play in the first. Here's Voigt. Syracuse has to hurry, rips a shot, and they score. Another goal on the board for Syracuse. Andrew Helmer puts it in.
If you're Colgate, this is exactly what you didn't want to have happen. Coach Carwick called the timeout for a reason. That was to try to get the last shot. Syracuse comes out in a zone defense. They play great defense, nice ground ball. Coach Desko, I thought he was going to take a timeout here. No, he lets him play on. Voigt finds Helmer with a great vision, great feed to the backside. And 88, who's not going to score many goals this season, scores a big one here for the Orange.
Played in 12 games last year, both at long stick mid and short stick defensive mid. Had a ground ball in the game against Colgate, but his first goal of the season is a big one. Brings Syracuse within one as Fopp wins another face-off for the Orange, but will take it to the end of the quarter. Syracuse down 3-2, but after Fopp came in, the story was different. The Orange have found their footing offensively and have made this a good game. Men's lacrosse season tickets are on sale now for only $65. The home schedule features games against Johns Hopkins, Army, and local rivals Albany and Cornell. Call 888-DOME-TICKS or visit Cuse.com to purchase tickets now. Take a look at that schedule. A gauntlet at home. Albany, who's still one of the more talented teams in the country. Virginia, Johns Hopkins, Duke, and Cornell, who Syracuse lost to in the NCAA tournament a year ago. All great games here in the Loud House.
I would say all great games. Holy cow, that's some talent coming in here. And in college lacrosse right now, the parity is at an all-time high. You saw a high point, first game of the season, take down powerhouse Duke. So you got to be ready to play every game. And the fans here in Syracuse are going to be treated some awesome games in the Dome this season.
Anybody can win on any given day, and Jacob Fopp has proved that at the Face-Off X. Has come in and done a tremendous job as Kennedy races down the field. Looked like he was going to score another goal. He had 2 last year from the defensive position. Now he's playing long stick mid this season.
I'm really impressed with 17 Kennedy. This kid can flat out play the game. Got a large IQ for the game of lacrosse, good understanding, doesn't make many mistakes, and he balls, man. He plays hard all the time, and you're going to see him turn into a super threat going to the cage with that long stick, just like Joel White, a legend of the Orange, used to do.
Syracuse finished last season at 8-7. And John Desko told us a lot of the guys weren't even sure if they'd be in the NCAA tournament, but he had to explain, look at our schedule, look at the teams we play and look at the teams we beat. We have 2 top 5 wins. Those are the 2 best wins in the country. We are 100% in. They weren't only in, they hosted their first game. Shot is erased at net by Connor Mullen, another save for the junior. And Ryan, you said your first game ever in the Carrier Dome was number 1 versus number 2, Syracuse, Virginia.
It was awesome. It was one of the greatest games ever played in college lacrosse. My brother Casey scored 7 goals and had 6 assists. I think that, don't quote me on this, but I think there was something like 22 or 23,000 people in the Dome. It was the biggest crowd that I ever played in front of here. besides the Final Four. But it was rocking that night, and what an introduction it was to Syracuse lacrosse for me coming from Carthage, New York, and playing my first game against Virginia in front of that many people.
Shot on net, and another bounce shot goes down for Petkovic. You can put it on the board. Colgate back up 2.
Great dodge to get things started by 11 Brown. He really makes this play, and kind of a low-to-low shot there that makes it past the Cuse netminder. And sometimes I'm up here and I'm watching these games, and I give goalies a lot of credit when they make the big saves. That one I would have liked to see Drake shut the door and make the save on that one. I thought it was a savable ball, but nonetheless, Colgate gets another goal. It's a big goal. They got a good fan support here. The crowd came out. I know that a lot of their alumni are here, and they're pretty excited down there with this 4-2 lead and the way that the Red Raiders are playing tonight.
Malcolm Feeney wins the face-off against Jacob Fopp, who had won 3 prior to that. Griffin Brown is someone who has a ton of talent, now a ton of experience as a junior, and talking to head coach Matt Carwick, he said, we know how much he can do for us. We just want him to make the easy pass. He did. It leads to a goal off the stick of Nicky Petkovic. Sam Cleveland gets a screen up top, fires a shot directly into the chest of Drake Porter. Colgate retains with a fresh 80. Whistle blows.
So there's a little problem with the shot clock there. Looks like they're going to get that reset. And Colgate will start their possession again here outside the box.
First year of the new shot clock. 80 seconds per possession. If you get the shot on net, you get a reset. Cleveland using that 6'5" body against the 6-foot Tyson Bomberry. Syracuse left Cadigan open for a minute. He had a goal earlier in this game, the first one. Hawkins using that left, finds Cleveland.
It's a good matchup right here for Cleveland against a short stick.
Gets all the way inside and gives it off to the X. And a bad pass goes wide. Fight for it. But it's finally retrieved by Petkovic, who just put in the last goal for Colgate. Syracuse making the Raiders work on this possession. Hawkins. Pass to the far side. Brown, and he finishes. Griffin Brown can pass, and he sure can shoot. Buries the shot and puts his team back up by 3.
This is a flat-out laser beam to the upper 90. I mean, you can hear it ting from up here in the box. Unbelievable placement. Right to the upper 90. Great form over there by Brown, stepping right into his shot. And I don't think any goaltender in the country is going to touch that one, man. That thing was ripped.
There's only so much you can do as a defender, as a goalkeeper. It does not matter. That was perfect placement and a rocket off the stick of Brown. Varello back in for this faceoff. Colgate has the advantage at the faceoff X, 5-3 in the 8 so far. Varello struggled early on. Appeared to have that one. As the wings come in, they diverge on the ball. And Colgate comes away with it again. Here's a chance to really hit the jugular. They went for it right off the bat, but can't find the back of the net. Will Blumenberg got hit as he released it. Colgate wants to go. They want to get more shots. If a team's just continuing to attack, what's the defensive mentality for Syracuse now to quell that and try to get themselves back in the game?
Well, it's a game of runs right now. This is not that, unexpected in the game of lacrosse. Colgate's certainly playing good right now. Syracuse doesn't have to do a whole lot different right now. They got to start playing a little bit better man-to-man defense. Colgate continues to get a step on their defensemen.
Cleveland inside, a little fake and score. Sam Cleveland with his second of the night. That's too easy for the big-bodied attack.
Yeah, it seems like this is the second time Cleveland's got the ball, and Syracuse is a little bit slow to go. When a guy gets that tight in on the cage, there's got to be a fire coming at that big body. He's winning that matchup so far here tonight. So look for Coach Desko to make an adjustment on Cleveland and see if they can get a slide coming to him a little bit quicker.
Sam Cleveland already 2 goals in game number 1, had 9 goals all of last season, but keep in mind he did have 31 assists. Just drew a ton of attention right now, abusing the one-on-one matchup with Captain Tyson Bomberry for Syracuse. And another face-off win for Malcolm Feeney, replacing Connor Orr this season, and he's been tremendous. Those shots on goal, a major factor in this game. Nice defensive recovery by Brendan Curry. Here comes Syracuse the other way. Nick Mellon taking it himself. Here's Voigt. Voigt, a senior this season, one of the leaders. Had 2 ground balls in the game against Colgate last year. Rafis.
There's a flag down here. Colgate's offside, so Syracuse playing knowing that they're going to have possession no matter what happens here, so they can be aggressive.
Rafis fired one inside, just missed his mark. So here comes the man-up opportunity. As Griffin Cook retrieves the ball in the game, the freshman.
Hey, mark it! Hey, you're at number 35's offsides. Technical foul. 35, technical. 40.
John Desko looks on as his team tries to scrape back in, now down by 4. It is 3-2 after 1 quarter of play. Syracuse with another golden opportunity. Already scored on the man-up today.
Seems to be the only area that they're generating much right now. Not having too many opportunities, but their man-up sure looks good.
Haven't really heard a ton from Nate Solomon. Voigt thought about it, thought better. Here's Rafis. Curry, who had the man-up goal before, now has it in his stick. And the penalty is released. A feeble shot on net from Trimboli. So Syracuse, back to even, will keep possession and try to generate something at even strength.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get their offense going right now. You know, this is a big possession for them right here. Got to move the ball, need the other guys moving without the ball, and produce a high-quality shot. Let's see if they can do that.
Curry. Now Voigt. It was Curry who had the first goal. Andrew Helmer, the long stick mid, with the second. Trimboli, 20 seconds to shoot for Syracuse. Lipka, who had a tremendous redshirt freshman year a year ago. Now 10 seconds to shoot for Syracuse. They're going to have to get a shot off. Roll dodge from Rafis. Jump shot. And it's no good. 3 seconds. Syracuse is going to have to work incredibly quickly to find
that should
something.
Be reset.
And it is.
Okay.
There's a fresh 80.
Goaltender got a little piece of it.
You see the rolling shot clock. Now Syracuse has 80 seconds to work with, down by 4. Trimboli got the late shot across net. Rafis, or rather Lipka. Lipka maneuvering himself inside, fired low, and it went through. Just found enough space. It counts nonetheless. Lipka on the board, and Syracuse back within 3.
Yeah, that ball just had just enough grease on it to squeak through the wickets of the netminder. Lipka rolls back to his left hand, takes a nice accurate shot down to the low part of the cage and sneaks it through.
Just between the legs of Connor Mullen, right there. So quick. Mullen has been tremendous in this game so far, but you can't stop them all. And Lipka finds just enough space. All right, so now you're down 3. You found a little bit of an offensive rhythm, starting to get some shots off. Syracuse seems to have themselves back, and their footing is right down on the gas.
20 seasons under head coach John Desko, Syracuse has lost their season opener one time. They're in trouble today at the Carrier Dome. Drew Carter, Adam Unger will have you at halftime. Legit cause for concern tonight?
Absolute cause for concern. The Raiders have been very physical with Syracuse, and the Orange just haven't had the ball in their six enough to really give themselves a chance. There's a lot of changes they need to make in this second half.
We'll tell you how Colgate has started hot at halftime and if there's hope for the future for Syracuse. But now let's go back to the Dome with Noah Eagle and Ryan Powell. Guys?
All right, guys, thanks so much. Colgate up 6-3. Ryan, I think it's a legitimate question. Is there cause for concern this early in the game?
It's really early to be calling for that right now. I think that Syracuse has got to find their rhythm a little bit. They're struggling to do that right now. But there is a lot of game left. I did see one big change that Syracuse has made now with Cleveland. They got Nick Mellon that's going to be guarding Cleveland right now. They took Bomberry off him. So let's see if that continues to be a matchup problem or not. But in my opinion, Nick Mellon's one of the best cover guys in the country. Against Cleveland, it's just a different matchup because the guy's 6'5", 220. So let's keep our eye on that matchup and see how that plays out the rest of the way. But I like the switch up by Coach Desko and his staff.
Cleveland, as you said, is 6'5", 220. Nick Mellon, 5'9", 185. But he is solid as a rock, very strong at the defensive position. Here's Griffin Cook, the freshman from Jamesville DeWitt, making his first appearance inside the Carrier Dome. A couple of roll dodges and hands it off to the experienced Nate Solomon at X. Solomon will run the show.
Syracuse should be cutting right now. All those guys got to be moving. There's one guy just standing right there on top of the crease, Rafus. He's got to move. Go set a pick for somebody. Anytime you got your defenseman caught in front of the cage, all the other guys got to move because the attackman's behind the cage and he's got his hands free and can feed.
Looked like Syracuse had something, but Matt Mangden, the freshman, was tripped, and that was someone John Desko said to look out for. One of the freshmen that has impressed him. He just needs to learn the system and get acclimated to the program a little bit better. Here's Cadigan, as Drew said. John Desko has only lost one season opener in his 20 seasons at the helm of the Orange. His 21st year now, has won ACC Coach of the Year in 2015, 16, 17, and 18. The Orange have a 9-game winning streak in ACC play regular season. It was considered the toughest conference in the country. Here's Brown, who has a goal and an assist already today. Said he gives it up. As you said, Ryan, there's Nick Mellon and Sam Cleveland as Cleveland goes out towards the top. Instead, Hawkins keeps the ball in his cross. Helmer with the help defense. Acrobatic shot. And a Syracuse ball. Crease violation. Griffin Brown just tried to sneak it in, ran out of space. So Mellon will try to clear it himself, lost the ball.
Good save, he wasn't out. Good save.
Kept it in bound, but Colgate grabs the ground ball. Solomon comes off in defense, and here's the clear from the Raiders. Cleveland matched up with Mellon. This is the matchup you want to see. Cleveland was taking Tyson Bomberry to school a little bit early on. Now he's got Mellon, who's considered one of the best one-on-one cover guys in the country. Flag on the field, so a free possession here for Colgate. Where do you expect them to go on this?
Well, I think that, like I said, with Syracuse having the ball, anytime there's a flag down, it allows your offensive unit to take a little bit more of a chance, play a little bit more aggressive. So, don't be afraid to feed the crease and see what you can get because you know that you're getting the ball back for a man-up opportunity regardless.
Petkovic, who has one of the 6 goals for Colgate today. A good start to the season for the junior. Here's Matt Donovan. Couple of moves. Feeds X. Extra feed looking for Cleveland, and Syracuse picks it up. Andrew Helmer grabbed the ground ball, but it's a free possession, so here comes the penalty. Lucas Quinn called too many men. So with 4:07 to play, another man-up opportunity for Colgate, who scored 38% of the time on their extra man opportunities a year ago.
Yeah, getting late in the second quarter here. This is a big time opportunity for Syracuse to get a stop, get some transition going the other way, and get a goal. But, it starts here with this 5-man, man-down unit communicating, executing their slides perfectly, keeping their sticks in the passing lane, and getting a stop.
58th all-time meeting between the two teams. Syracuse has won 47 times. The last time that the Raiders won was in 2008. That was in Hamilton, New York, as a shot is saved, went off the cross. But Colgate keeps it in the fresh 80. The penalty is released, so we're all even. Colgate has not won here on the Carrier Dome since 2007, so it's been more than 10 years since the Raiders have picked up a win in the Loud House. Shot, and it went off the side of the net. That one was from James Cadigan, who had the first goal of the game. So Porter catches a break.
That was a very good job there by the man-down defense. A much-needed stop by the Orange. But now here's the secret right here is Syracuse got to start playing some better offense. And they got to start playing together as a unit. Right now it seems to be in one guy's stick and the other 5 guys standing around a little bit. I talked about Colgate having so much success because the ball was in one stick and the other 5 guys are all moving. So let's see if they can start getting a little bit more movement on offense here.
Trimboli looked like he had a quick opening that was shut down in a heap. Now Lipka rolling past the net. Trimboli fires. Mullins there. And Colgate preserves their 3-goal lead. Leak in front. And the Raiders clear. Do it in 8 seconds. They had another 12 to work with. Danny Healy. Gives it off to Matt Donovan. Donovan had 14 goals, 10 assists last year. His older sister Kylie played for the Colgate women's lacrosse team, graduated in 2016. He had 4 multi-goal games a year ago. Brendan Jordan has it in his right hand, working against Andrew Helmer. Colgate passing the ball well. Cleveland finds some space, but it's going the other way. Bad pick set. Syracuse takes over. Now a chance to cut into this lead with 1:40 on the clock. This is where you can gain some momentum going into the half.
Absolutely. That was a good call by the official right there on that moving pick. That's the right call. So it gives Syracuse an opportunity to clear the ball, hopefully get it in the offensive end and do something with the ball.
Cook. Whistle called and offside is called on Syracuse. John Desko is irate. He cannot believe it. And Syracuse has to turn around or they're going to give up another goal. Cleveland. Donovan splits the defense and now calms it down for Colgate, the senior, the leadership. And Matt Carwick, the head coach of the Raiders, told us that he's expecting that entire senior class to be leaders. He needs them not only to be leaders off the field, but on the field vocally more so than anything else. He wants everyone talking. You can hear it on the field right now. It's loud.
Yeah, if you're Colgate right now with the ball, you're in no hurry right now. I'd be playing for the absolute last shot. You saw how it burned him at the end of the first quarter. So let that thing wind right now and truly get the last shot. I wouldn't be attacking the cage until under 10 seconds.
They do anyway. Petkovic misses, but he saw that he had backup. So an aggressive play by Nicky Petkovic leads to a timeout for Matt Carwick, the first-year head coach, former assistant at Notre Dame. Calls for timeout with 26 seconds left. Colgate leading by 3. Syracuse with just 1 goal in the second quarter. The Raiders have matched their first quarter output, 3 in each period so far. As the Orange, number 10 in the country, in danger here in this first half. They need to start picking it up, especially offensively, to try to get back into this game. Another big game coming to the Dome. Tickets still on sale for the Orange women's basketball game against national powerhouse Notre Dame on February 25th. Purchase tickets and help break the all-time attendance record for an SU women's basketball game. Tickets are only $10, or for single seats, $5 each. for groups of 15 or more, and a special corporate package of 500 tickets for only $2 each. Call 888-DOME-TICKS or visit Cuse.com to purchase your tickets now. Let's listen into the huddle of Syracuse.
Skips or something on the backside. That's all they're going to fucking do. Lock it down, get the sticks in the lane. Oh, good on
Syracuse ranked 10th in the Inside Lacrosse poll. Look at all these ACC teams inside that poll. I mean, they call it the toughest conference in America for a reason. Duke, Virginia, Syracuse, Notre Dame, UNC, no days off.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent right there on that list for sure, but that Duke's going to be sliding down the ladder there. They're moving off number 2 after the loss against High Point. So, like I said, anybody can beat anybody. That's a great list that are in the top 20, and great ACC conference. A lot of phenomenal teams, but there's a lot of really good teams across the country right now. And it's going to be an exciting year of college lacrosse.
Well, aside from just the ACC schools, you look at Syracuse's schedule, which we detailed a decent amount of. So Colgate here, Albany next, Virginia, Army, Johns Hopkins, Rutgers is very good, Cornell is very good, Navy. You really don't get a week where you're saying, okay, this is somewhat of a cupcake game. Almost every game on the schedule is a tough win.
Yeah, so if you're Colgate now, Noah, you want to be playing this out for the last shot. Colgate took an early one last time.
And they'll take another early one here. Griffin Brown misses, but Cleveland there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that coach is staying aggressive and letting them go. Like I said, at the end of the first quarter, it really burned him and gave Syracuse a little bit of momentum, but he doesn't seem to be stepping off the gas pedal, and he's telling his guys to keep going to the cage. So
Cleveland against Mellon, spins inside, pulls it out. Bad pass. Syracuse has a chance here. 2 seconds remaining, and neither team will get a shot off. As the buzzer sounds, Colgate will go into half, up 6-3 on the number 10 team in the country. The Raiders haven't won here in the Carrier Dome since 2007, but early on, physical play has been in favor of Colgate. 6-3, the Raiders in front after 2 quarters of play.
Valentine's Day with hundreds of gifts under $1.99. And find other great deals on gifts she'll love at prices you'll love too, with 25 to 50% off everything. Only at Kay.
Syracuse head coach John Desko, typically cool as a cucumber, but you take a look at that score and you know exactly why he's hot. After 30 minutes in the 2019 season, his team is staring at a 3-goal deficit against Colgate as the Orange looks to avoid their first home opener loss since 2013 against Albany, taking on Colgate tonight here on our ACC on ESPN Halftime Show. I'm Drew Carter alongside Adam Unger. Adam, Colgate, like we said, they're not very good in the season series against Syracuse or the all-time series. Syracuse almost never loses at home, almost never loses in the openers. Raiders are not afraid tonight.
No, they're not, and it's because of all this physical play that you've been seeing right off the bat. Within the first minute of the game, a penalty on both sides. Those 50-50 ground balls have become all-out scrums, and Colgate's been winning those scrums because they're not afraid to get down and dirty against a team that's ranked in Syracuse, a team that's conventionally more talented in Syracuse, but that necessarily hasn't been the case tonight.
Yeah, both teams generating a lot of good looks, and both goalies were standing on their heads in the early going. First off, for Syracuse, it's Drake Porter, a guy who saw a little bit of time last year, but he's been a career backup. First career start tonight, he's looked pretty good.
Yeah, he has 8 saves so far tonight. He has been standing on his head. You've said it. Every chance that Colgate has been getting on the doorstep, it seems like Porter somehow has an answer. Gets that elbow really high on the off-stick side, so he's able to really be able to cover more of the net than he should when he's hugging the near post or the far post. So he's been able to really keep Syracuse in this one.
Porter's first career start. On the other side, it's the senior who started every game last year. Connor Mullen has been phenomenal for the Raiders.
Mullen is the reason why Syracuse has so few goals on the board. It's not so much for a lack of chances as it is Mullen also being able to just dominate in the crease.
Now, on the other side, when Colgate's on offense, we know who the headliner is. That would be Sam Cleveland. He's literally taller than everyone else. You cannot avoid him. He's been great so far for the Raiders.
When you talk about his size, there are only a handful of defenders in the country who can probably size up with him pound for pound. Tyson Bomberry is the one who has probably the best chance from a physical standpoint, but Cleveland was just dominant. 2 goals early on. He tried a behind the back shot down the alley, and Syracuse really had no answer, so they went to Nick Mellon, where he's been a little more contained, but still, Sam Cleveland, 31 assists in 2018, so when he's not scoring, he can also feed his teammates as well.
And tonight, he's the only player on the field with multiple goals, so he's showing you that well-rounded game, but it's fascinating, Adam. We were talking about it during that first half. I said, why not Nick Mellon? He's your best one-on-one defender. You said Tyson Bomberry because he's bigger, but we just saw Sam Cleveland overpowered him on his way to the crease, so what does Syracuse do?
At that point, you just have to go with Mellon and hope that he can maybe get some V-holds, turn Cleveland to a side that Mellon wants him to go to. Nick Mellon has said he's more comfortable guarding left-handed attackmen, but Cleveland equally effective with both hands, and he can play a bit of a backhand style as well. Very, very versatile attack, and Nick Mellon really just has quite a matchup to start the season this year.
All right, so Colgate has come into the Carrier Dome and punched Syracuse in the mouth. The Raiders lead 6-3 after 30 minutes in the entire 2019 lacrosse season. Come back with us. We'll take you through the highlights and stats on the other side.
Dedication. Cupcakes.
We play football together for the Titans.
Now, we own a cupcake shop. I love this new Surface Pro. It's light, it's sleek, it's fast. Cupcakes are a great business.
As long as you don't eat the profits.
Surprise, surprise! Syracuse men's lacrosse, number 10 in the country, entering the 2019 season on upset alert in their season opener as Colgate, a Central New York foe, dominating Syracuse 6-3 after 30 minutes at the Dome. Drew Carter back alongside Adam Unger on our ACC on ESPN halftime show. Adam, are you surprised by how well Colgate has played so far?
I absolutely am surprised, and it's because these two teams are very familiar with each other, but it's the new coaching staff for Colgate that really flipped this Syracuse team on its head. John Desko said earlier this week they're not really able to prepare for what this Colgate team is going to bring to the table because they had a new coaching staff top to bottom. So while you're preparing for the same guys, those same guys might be in different roles, and that's, I think, what you're seeing tonight that's making Syracuse so off balance and having them so far behind at halftime.
Now, Syracuse preparing for that new coaching staff, also preparing for something else that's new. How about some rule changes in lacrosse? 3 really notable ones so far, but we're going to focus on a couple here at halftime. Number 1, the shot clock. We saw it bite Colgate in that first quarter, about 7 minutes in, midway through that first, and Colgate charged with a shot clock violation.
And that shot clock violation can be killer. It can kill all the momentum that an offense has. Colgate dominating that time of possession because they are able to get those shots off. But at the same time, if you can't get one off in those 80 seconds, you're done for, because then all of a sudden you lose the possession right off the bat. And the substitution box is also shortened from 20 yards to 10 yards. So that makes it tougher for teams to change out their defensive and offensive midfielders. That needs even more time off of that shot clock. And that shot clock violation really just bit Colgate because that gave Syracuse an opportunity to really seize a possession and grab a goal. And you can see Cunningham on the defense there, and they're throwing it away. And at that point, you see guys trying to transition. They're already going to the box. They know 3 seconds to go. I have to get back to the 45-yard line now, not the 40, because at that point, you just ran out of time and you just gave away a possession essentially.
And one thing I know you're really interested in, Adam, is how those 2 rule changes go hand in hand with the shot clock and the transition box. Going to lead to more breakneck pace, right?
They absolutely do, and that's what you saw with that Syracuse goal right at the end of the first quarter. Syracuse was also pushing the pace because there wasn't that much time left on the clock. But at the same time, you see Austin Fusco, long stick midfielder, running the ball down the field, finding Andrew Helmer, a former LSM who now plays short stick defense, and all of a sudden, you have him shooting from 20 yards out, 2-point teleport 2-point territory, in Major League Lacrosse. That's just something that you would never see from Syracuse before, even when they do push the pace, because you have a chance to get your offensive midfielders on. So when you see that, you have more guys like Andrew Helmer, Peter Durf, Pete Fiorini, a freshman who played 2 ways in high school just down the road at Baldwinsville. You see those guys, and they're going to have more opportunities to get some of those nitty-gritty goals in those situations because you aren't going to have as much time or as much room to really change out your personnel.
That shot from Helmer, by the way, it was a bullet.
Yeah.
A rocket, a straight C that singed the net. Let's take a look at some other highlights from those first 30 minutes between Syracuse and Colgate. We said it, physical, from the jump. Raiders not scared of the moment.
Yeah, Brett Kennedy flattening a Colgate player, and then the Raiders answer right back with a quick run. All of a sudden, you look at the scoreboard, Colgate's up 2-0, 3-0, and as the Orange, you're trying to just not hit the panic button at that point because you're matching up against Sam Cleveland, doing everything you can to slow him down. Drake Porter has 8 saves, but the offense just can't get the ball in their sticks early on.
Raiders offense really asserting themselves on one side. On the other end, it's Connor Mullen making some fantastic saves. When you're playing against Syracuse, eventually they'll find some water.
They absolutely will. And there you see it, the bullet from Helmer. Top corner, can you reach it for me? That was a fantastic goal from a former long stick midfielder. Surprised he can shoot with a short stick that well this early on, considering he made that change last season because of the rise of Brett Kennedy.
So they were going back and forth. Mullen could not keep that one out from David Lipka, who's starting in place of the injured Tucker Dordovic. Look at the shot disparity, though. Colgate, like we said, they've come out and they've punched him right in the mouth.
And that's the time of possession. And you also look at the ground balls. Colgate doubling up on Syracuse in both of those categories, and that's what you don't want to see is John Desko. That's why he's irate. You said it. He's normally all cool, all chill, but Syracuse losing the ground ball battle and the shot battle significantly, and that's why it's such a problem for Syracuse.
So John Desko looking to avoid just his second ever loss in a season opener at the helm of Syracuse. Keep in mind, this is season number 21. Only other time it ever happened against Albany, 2013, a 16-15 barn burner in double overtime. You think we see a similar result tonight?
Well, I think Cardiac Hughes has something in store for the second half for sure.
Syracuse, it allowed Colgate to really hold on and keep possession of the ball pretty much for the last 2 minutes of the game. So a big blown call right there by this crew, but it is what it is. And Syracuse, at the end of the day, they need to come out and play better lacrosse. You know, can't point your finger at the referees and can't blame it on an offside call. You know, this Syracuse Orange offensive unit that's returned almost everybody, and they've come out here and they look like they have no flow, and they've put up 3 goals so far. But I'll tell you one thing from my time playing against Coach Desko, he is a master at adjusting at halftime to the flow of the game and what's going on. So you will see an inspired group and a different team come out here in the second half if it's anything like it was when I played for Coach Desko during my time.
Well, right on cue, Danny Varela wins the faceoff. In the first half, it was all Colgate at the faceoff X. 7 wins for the Raiders, just 4 for the Orange. But Syracuse gets the first one of this second half, and now Nate Solomon has the ball in his stick. Across the field, Cook fires, went low to high, and sailed out of play. Syracuse was there with Rafis as Cook was trying to get his first goal in a Syracuse uniform. Ryan, do you think that it's one player that needs to step it up and start to ignite the Syracuse offense as a whole? Or is it just everyone collectively coming together and getting a better product on the field?
Well, the goaltender's been playing great for Colgate, so that's step number 1. They got to start doing a better job with their shot placements and finding a way to put it past Mullen. But here's a little transition.
Fusco was looking for Cook, just out of the reach of the freshman streaking down the field, and John Desko knew it. If he got it to Cook, it was probably in the back of the net.
Hey, like I talked about, some adjustments. So already you're seeing Griffin Cook is out there, the phenomenal freshman from Jamesville, DeWitt. He got the start in the second half at attack number 2. They've moved Solomon up to the midfield, so he's going to get a little bit more of some short stick looks. And he just made a great feed to the backside there on that first offensive possession by the Orange. So it's going to take a collective effort, you know, but I think that those were good, some good change-ups by Coach Desko. And I really like Griffin Cook's game. I thought when he was out there, and he wasn't out there much in the first half, he really gave the offense a little bit of a spark. He is quick, shifty, and he can get a step on his defenseman. So watch out for this freshman here, number 2, to energize the Cuse on the offensive end.
Well, John Desko said he's been most impressed by his IQ of the game. He plays hard all the time, so he said he'll make mistakes because when you play hard 100% of the time, you're going to make mistakes, but you'd rather him make mistakes and be playing hard than not make mistakes and playing not so hard. He wants him to go hard all the time if that's his game, which it is, and he has the ball now in his cross. You said he's a spark plug. That's exactly what he's on the field to do. And without Tucker Dordovec, who's injured in this game, and we'll know more next week about his lower body injury, he re-aggravated a former injury, Griffin Cook could be a big cog in this offensive production for Syracuse. Lipko had a goal in the first half, looking for a second of the night, but he can't put it in the back of the net. Rafis, who was quiet in that first half, gets a pick from Brendan Curry. Rafis will keep it himself. Feed in front. Cook almost had a goal. He was open on the doorstep, but just took his eyes off the ball, and then Healy comes in and scoops it up. Mullen way out of cage. Give himself a chance to retreat back to the net. Healy splits the defense and gets the clear. Syracuse now with 9 turnovers in this game and a 3-goal deficit. Couple minutes gone by in this third quarter. The Orange defense, especially on the initial attack, has been very good, but if you look at the numbers of ground balls, second chance opportunities, Colgate is dominating in that stretch of the game. A lot of shots have gone right off and bounced either off of Drake Porter, off the post, right back into a Colgate stick, and it's those second and third opportunities that are burning the Cuse.
Yeah, I don't think the defense has been playing bad here tonight. I think that the goaltender has played really well.
And there's another example. Nicky Pekovic takes advantage of the second chance opportunity, puts it in the back of the net. 7-3 Colgate.
This is one of those goals that's the right place, right time. Goaltender makes a great save, number 33. We just talked about him and the game that he's played, Drake Porter. I think that he's been playing phenomenal in between the pipes for the Orange. That was the big save, but popped up right in front of the crease. And right time, right place for Colgate. And they get another big-time goal here to start the third quarter. So
Morello started the third with a face-off win. Would be big for him to get another one and try to get possession back for his team. Now down by 4 goals a couple minutes into this third quarter. Physical play, popped up in the air. Girth is trying to track it down. The captain this year, short stick defensive mid for Syracuse. Cunningham had it momentarily. And it's Kennedy that comes away with it. Here comes Brett Kennedy, the redshirt sophomore. Sidestepping. Extra feed in front. Rafis missed it wide.
Again, it's Kennedy pushing in transition. Kid plays like an offensive mind with a long stick in his hands. Has a very good understanding of the game. When he pushes that ball in transition, he makes a lot of things happen. He always makes a good decision. And for a young player like him, you know, you don't come around those types of players very often. So very impressed. Can't say enough about 17 Kennedy's game.
Solomon absorbs the contact. Now the flag comes in. Tried to go behind the back. It was a free play anyway. Syracuse will get an extra man opportunity.
See what I talked about in the pregame with Solomon? He's not afraid to go in the middle right there. The 3 defensemen just collapsed on him. He can still maintain control of the ball and get off a behind the back shot.
Red, 4-4, 1 minute slash. Red, 4-4, 30 seconds for the hole.
That's John Donahue, the junior, getting his first start. It's a 1-minute penalty. That's a big chance now on the man up for Syracuse as Solomon forced the issue. And you see right there with a stick, Donahue just got it right across the neck of the senior.
This is a big-time man-up opportunity right here for Syracuse. This could energize them, spark them. They need something to happen. They need something to go in their favor to get this thing going. This could be a big goal with plenty of time left on the clock in the game to make something happen here.
And there it is. Nate Solomon on the left doorstep puts it in.
The man-up unit for Syracuse has been awesome all night. Unbelievable ball movement, really nice sets that Coach Desko and his staff have put in place here. And the guys are just moving the ball phenomenally, finding those passing lanes. You saw a perfect pass right there down to Solomon. And see how he catches the ball down low, makes a little fake, and then he also steps in front of the cage to increase his angle and bury the ball to the back of the net.
Solomon's first goal of the season. He had 22 a year ago. To go along with 15 assists, 54 shots for now the senior out of Alpharetta, Georgia. Jacob Fopp is back in the game at the face-off X, and he wins it for the Cuse. Nice job by Fopp in relief of Varello, and now here comes Marcus Cunningham. Over to Kennedy, long stick to long stick. Kennedy rips one. Goes right over the net, and Connor Mullen, Solomon there will reset. It's that offensive mind. How much of a difference can that make to have a long pole who's willing to take shots, willing to take it himself, and is so aggressive on the offensive end?
I think that the attackmen and the other players out there love a player that can do that. I remember playing, with Joel White and watching his game, one of the great defensemen of all time from Syracuse. He's one of the best in the business at pushing in transition.
Solomon shoved to the deck, lost the ball momentarily. Rafis nearly picked it up, but instead it goes to Colgate and Jack Donahue. Mullen way out of his cage. Solomon just swiping at it. Can't get it to back in his stick. Colgate's going to have to work quickly on the clear here. And they just get it across before the 20-second benchmark. Petkovic has it. He's got 2 goals. Lost it now. And here comes Syracuse the other way. Griffin Cook with some pace. What can the freshman cook up in his first game for the Orange?
Well, Syracuse is now playing like Syracuse, it seems like, all of a sudden. Playing with a little bit more swagger, playing with more confidence, and playing with a heck of a lot more energy. That's what they need to do. The Dome's been waiting to see this, but now they're starting to play Syracuse lacrosse, playing at a little different level. Saw that world-class ride right there to get the ball back. Now their offense is feeding off it, and they're starting to really move the ball and click.
This will be a penalty. Brad Voigt got clobbered on the pass inside. John Donahue likely the guilty party. He was just called for a 1-minute infraction. And that's exactly what it's going to be. Donahue again going to the box. The junior in his first game starting. Great feed from Rafis to find the cutting Voigt. And then look at the helmet-to-helmet contact between the two players. Concussions are a point of emphasis by the NCAA. So another man-up opportunity where Syracuse has looked like a well-oiled machine so far today.
Yeah, watch this ball movement. Watch the open passing lanes. How everybody's got their stick up ready to be a threat when they catch the ball.
Lipka. Now Trimboli. Good defense from Colgate. Lipka. Feed inside. And it'll stay with Syracuse. Mullen thought he had a tremendous play.
Not a very good look there by Lipka. He's got to be smarter in that situation. Look at all these great looks that Syracuse are getting when they're moving the ball quickly, being unselfish, finding those passing lanes. Lipka trying to find Rafis down low with a little lob pass with the defenseman in the way. That's just sloppy. He's got to be better, especially in the man-up opportunity.
So another chance for Syracuse, man-up opportunity. They have 2 man-up goals today. Last season they had 16 the entire year in 15 games. Can they put a third on the board? Here's the chance, Solomon. Lipka, Trimboli, Curry, all getting involved on this possession. Lobs a feed inside. Solomon. Back to Curry. Trimboli. Methodical offense. Here's Brad Voigt. Solomon rips one and puts it in. Nate Solomon has come alive in the third quarter. Number 3 has number 2 on the season, and Syracuse is within a deuce.
Experience pays right here. This is a bunch of offensive players that have spent a lot of time playing together. Tic-tac-toe passing, unbelievable goal on the man-up opportunity for Syracuse. Brings it within 2 here in the Dome.
Switch to Fios and get entertainment delivered to your home like no one else. Because Fios is a 100% fiber optic network. You'll get the fastest internet available and Fios TV One with an advanced voice remote. And now we'll give you a Netflix premium plan for a full year, so you can stream your favorites in 4K on 4 devices at once. Already have Netflix? We'll cover the cost for 1 year. So switch for $79.99 a month with a 2-year agreement and get Fios Gigabit connection with TV and phone with a 2-year price guarantee. 100% fiber optic network, 100% phenomenal.
First we huff,
then we puff, then we blow the house down.
7-5, Colgate in front, but Syracuse starting to storm back. 6:56 to play in the third quarter. The first Syracuse men's lacrosse telecast of the year on the ACC Network Extra is right now. We've got the next one coming up next week as well. Syracuse and Albany from the Carrier Dome. Syracuse starts with 7 straight games right here in the Loud House. Should be a fun one between two of the country's most talented teams in Albany and Syracuse. 4 p.m. right here on ACC Network Extra next Saturday. So Colgate extended that lead into halftime. Now Syracuse starting to make their way back within 2. Nate Solomon has found his footing.
Yeah, great goal by Nate. And Syracuse is a different team right now. You know, they've scored a couple man-up opportunities, but just the way that they're playing on the offensive end and what they're doing in between the lines, now all of a sudden they're winning those 50-50 balls, and the ball has been here in this third quarter down in the orange offensive end much more than Colgate. Colgate had a lot of possession in the first half. Syracuse seems to be owning that area so far here in the third.
Malcolm Feeney takes it away from Jacob Fopp, and Colgate now has possession. Watch out again for the second and third chance opportunities from the Raiders. They haven't necessarily scored on the first attack of the cage, but it's getting those ground balls. It's getting those rebounds on net. That's what has them in front by 2.
Hey, Mark, you got top side.
Pekovic, now Hawkins. Hawkins has held scoreless so far today. That's a 30-goal scorer from a year ago. Moved from attack to midfield in Matt Carwick's first year as head coach. Shot goes past net. Sam Cleveland will retrieve and reset the offense for the Raiders.
Let's take a close look at this matchup right here. Cleveland versus Mellon. Cleveland has not been able to get his hands free against 21 Mellon since Coach Desko made the switch in the second quarter.
You've got length versus quickness and speed, and right now quickness and speed has won out. Brown using his body against Durf. One of the captains, one of 5 for Syracuse this year. Tough shot, and it was contested. Hoskinson thought he had some space, but Helmer came in like a bullet and closed it up.
Helmer's been playing one heck of a game, 88 in orange. Been very impressed with his development as a player, and he's one of the best short stick D-middies that I've seen out here on the field tonight, and I think that he can be one of the top guys in the country.
3 seconds to shoot for Colgate. Hawkins is going to have to force one, and instead he just lets Syracuse take over. Second time the shot clock has expired on a Colgate offensive possession. Drake Porter and company doing their job. Now they have 20 seconds to clear it. Curry maneuvering himself. They have 10 seconds left to get it past midfield. They do, but it was a bad pass. Voigt retrieves it, scoops it up. The ground ball goes to the senior. So now a minute to work with. Syracuse on the shot clock. Down by 2, but the momentum seems to be in the Orange's favor. early on in this second half.
Yeah, you can feel the energy shifting here in the Dome. The crowd is starting to get into it a lot more. They just got up. They were going nuts as Syracuse had a great defensive stand to get the ball back for the Orange. Here's a nice look to the backside.
Lipka sailed it a little bit, overthrew it as Rafis will reset it for Syracuse. Lipka already has a goal today. Made the start in place of the injured Tucker Dordovic, sophomore from Portland, Oregon, who's dealing with a lower body injury that he re-aggravated. That's a big loss for Syracuse. A real grinder in the middle. Lipka again goes off the post, and a long rebound goes to Nick Mellon.
What a play there with a little flip pass over to Trimboli from Mellon.
Nick Mellon can do it all on both sides of the field. Retrieves back to his defensive position. Curry will fire and miss. David Lipka remaining aggressive in this third quarter.
Good left-hand ripper right there. Hit it off the bar. Unfortunately, it wasn't 3 more inches to the inside. That would have went to the back of the net, but a good shot.
Solomon draws the assignment on Jack Donahue. This defensive line for Colgate. John Donahue, Jack Donahue, and Ryan Cayley. Trimboli has been quiet today, attacking the cage. Air melded. But now Syracuse seems to be getting a plethora of looks in this third quarter. Legitimate attacks on net and on Connor Mullen. Solomon already has 2 goals in this third quarter. Feed in front, just past Bradley Voigt. Voigt gets it back anyway. 25 to shoot for Syracuse. Curry. Trimboli. 15 to shoot for the Orange. Trimboli fires, and it goes past net.
That's great dodging up top by number 12, Trimboli. Really impressed with his game. Way to get your hands free, number 12. Good shot.
Rafis gets his hands free momentarily. Solomon had it, fed it in front, and Syracuse will take this shot clock expiration. Colgate with a defensive stand after Syracuse did just that to the Raiders. Connor Mullen standing tall in net. He's 5'10", 180-pound junior from Dallas, Texas. Led up 119 goals last year, gave up about 10.5 per game. Keep in mind, this is a Colgate team that was 10th in the country in scoring offense a year ago. Scored 178 goals. It's good for about 12 a game. Syracuse, 169. Still a pretty nice mark at 11.27 per game. So 2 high potent offenses from a year ago that return the majority of their scoring. However, Syracuse is without Tucker Dordovic, sophomore, who had 15 goals, 5 assists in his freshman season last year. Colgate looking for offense. Haven't scored in a couple minutes, only 1 goal in this third quarter. As the shot went very high from Petkovic, but a good hustle play, and Colgate keeps it courtesy of Brad Minikis. Here is Minikis. Shot low and a save by Drake Porter. Covered a lot of ground quickly on that shot.
Yeah, 33 Porter's been excellent all night. I've said it a few times, but been impressed with his first game in the orange uniform in the starting role. A lot of pressure on that position, and he's accepted that pressure and stepping up pretty good here and having a solid contest thus far. A lot of game left.
Number 10, Syracuse, looking to stave off an upset from the Colgate Raiders, their local rival from Hamilton, New York. Early on, it was all Colgate. At halftime, it was 6-3. As you see, the score currently at 7-5. Syracuse with back-to-back goals from Nate Solomon in this third quarter. Griffin Cook mishandles the pass, gets it back himself, always hustling on the field, keeps it in his cross, and then throws it away. Great recovery from the Colgate defense. Chaos on the field right now. It was a one-man show And finally, into the trusty stick of Nicky Petkovic. However, Syracuse will take it back. Final minute here in this third quarter from the Carrier Dome. Syracuse down by 2. A goal here could put that momentum into hyperdrive for the Orange. Still one more turnover than the Raiders in this game. Shot clock is irrelevant on this possession. 30 seconds left. You'd think that Syracuse is holding for one here.
I do. I think they still got to be aggressive, but I think you're looking for a final shot. That's the worst shot that you want right there. That early in the shot clock, you can get such a better look than that if you move the ball and get it to your top offensive players. Lucas Quinn's got to be smarter in that situation. Funnel the ball through the attack, get the defense moving, turning their heads, and open up a better look on the offensive end.
Brown with an opening and can't get it to go. Probably wouldn't have even counted. Looked like it was a tad late. Syracuse makes up a little ground in that third quarter. It's 7-5 Colgate after 3 quarters of play. Let's see if the Orange can come back.
Hi guys, this is the Chevy Equinox. Beautiful.
Wow.
It offers a lot of great technology inside.
Ooh, this is fancy.
That's the available HD surround vision camera.
The top of your car?
Mm-hmm. It helps you see dangers around the vehicle.
What is that?
What the? Wait, what is that?
Oh my God.
What is happening?
These are big alligators.
Now we're surrounded.
So who's getting out first?
I don't know, but we're keeping this camera on.
Artificial intelligence helps us meet the needs of tomorrow, today.
By 2050, we need to produce 60% more food. So how do we feed the world without wrecking the planet? Using Microsoft AI, we make predictions about when to plant, when to irrigate, and when to harvest. Now we can reduce waste and produce more food.
Artificial intelligence helps us change the way we feed the world.
Number 10, Syracuse in danger of being upset in their first game of the 2019 season. The Colgate Raiders have come in and played well. John Desko said he thought the greatest strength of his team is how balanced they are on all 3 facets of the game. Midfield, attack, defense, everyone's balanced. It showed in that third quarter.
Yeah, 33, Drake Porter out of the IMG Academy. Very talented. Played for my good friend Brody Merrill up in Ontario. And then Nate Solomon, we talked about him in the pregame from Centennial High School in Georgia. Played for another one of my good friends, Liam Banks, and his club team down there in Atlanta. And we really like his game. We were talking about it. I talked to him on the way over to the Dome here tonight and just talked about what a grinder Solomon is and how hard the kid plays and how big of a heart he has for the game. So he scored a couple nice ones, and he needs to score a couple more nice ones.
Penalty against Varello, so Colgate takes over on the faceoff. Legitimate penalties. Syracuse has had only 2, have gone for a total of 1 minute. Colgate, 3 penalties, 3.5 minutes in the box, and Syracuse has scored 3 times on the man up. Rather, 5 penalties, 3 scores for Syracuse. Aaron pass. Hoskinson went up to retrieve it. Finally gets it back as Helmer hounds him on the perimeter. Hawkins, half the shot clock almost gone now for Colgate. Up by 2. Looking to win against Syracuse for the first time in more than a decade. And just like that, the Orange take over possession. What does Syracuse need to do now? Down by 2 goals. Final quarter of play, a lot of emotion in the first game of the season. How do you make sure you win this one?
Yeah, you got to make sure that you're patient right now. Let's get the right offensive guys out there on the field. There's still plenty of time. Got a lot of time in the game, a lot of time on the shot clock. Get a good offensive possession. But you got to make sure that you keep that energy going, and all the guys out there on the offensive end need to be moving. That was Syracuse's problem in the first half. The ball's in one guy's stick, the other 5 guys standing around. So all guys got to flow together, work together, and everybody should be moving.
Curry, he's got it! Brendan Curry with a rocket! and he brings his team within one.
Pretty much exactly what I'm talking about from top to bottom, how the ball's going from one guy's stick to the next. You see there as Curry's dodging down the side. The other two guys in the middle did a little exchange play there. They were moving their feet. It didn't allow for a Colgate slide to come at Curry. He got time, he got room, and it was an awesome shot. Again, you heard that one off the bar. And a big-time goal by Syracuse to cut this thing within one. This puts Colgate on their heels a little bit, and I think that they might be going through their mind and being like, uh-oh, here they come. So let's see if Syracuse can keep the pressure on.
Varela wins the face-off and promptly has it taken away by John McDonald. Something to keep an eye on. Syracuse has won 52 straight games when holding their opponent to less than 10 goals. 52 consecutive games. John Desko has won all but one season openers in his first 20 years as head coach of the Orange. 2 records on the line here. Last year in the season opener, Syracuse put up 21 goals against Binghamton. Not quite as easy this time around against a very good Colgate team who was picked in the lower half of the Patriot League. They'll surprise a lot of people this season. Hoskinson has a goal today, and he's got a second. Fitted underneath, and Hoskinson puts his team back on the board.
This is a great goal right here. This is another one of those just turn and straight speed dodge, and Kennedy's a little slow to come right there. You got that short stick defenseman behind the cage. You got to have your head on a swivel. You got to be able to, or be ready to slide in that situation and help out those short stick D-middies, especially with an attackman driving from behind the cage. So Syracuse is slow on the slide, and they pay for it.
8-6, Colgate in front. Offenses are starting to come to life. A couple of offenses that averaged north of 11 goals a year ago and returned the majority of their scoring. Face-offs have been back and forth, and Syracuse wins this one. But it's going to Colgate. Too much contact from the SU face-off unit. So Colgate with the advantage, 9 face-offs to 8 in this game. It's the little things, and it results in that. Nicky Petkovic, a hat trick for the junior, and Colgate up by 3.
What a nice shot this was, overhand, a high, hard one. And he sticks that one to the back of the net. This was a great goal by Colgate, comes at a big time. And this puts Syracuse in a tough spot right now.
John Desko can feel it. He's been around the block. His 21st year as head coach of Syracuse, going against the young buck. First-year head coach Matt Carwick of Colgate, former assistant at Notre Dame for the past 6 years. While he was at Notre Dame, the Irish went 5-4 against Syracuse. And another face-off win. The little things continue to add up as it's 10-9 in favor of the Raiders at the face-off X. 12 minutes to play in game number 1 of 2019. Syracuse down by 3, and it stays that way. Brown had an opening, but can't convert. Fresh shot clock as Cleveland clears it for Hoskinson. Now Hawkins, who's still scoreless on the night, looking for his first, can't find it. Griffin Brown will start this offensive possession up behind the net. Gets a double. Brown is doubled. Whistles blow. Timeout Colgate. Got it off just in time. Brown was in deep trouble as the double came. Brown didn't look like he was going to be able to hold on to possession. His team up by 3 with 11.5 minutes to play. Number 10, Syracuse, in danger of losing to Colgate for the first time in 11 years. John Desko in danger of dropping his second season opener in 21 years. At this point, what does Syracuse need to do as we take a look at these Colgate goals? They're just finding ways to find the back of the net. Syracuse had brought it within one, and that was until Hoskinson put it down, and then a quick strike from Nicky Petkovic for his third of the night. And it's been the Raiders who have regained momentum in this game. How does Syracuse quell that emotion? You see, the last time they won was May 3rd, 2008. They know that. They know the history that's at stake here, and they usually play Syracuse at the end of the year. They have nothing to lose. They're playing with house money. What does the Orange do from here?
Yeah, Colgate's playing very inspired right now for their first-year head coach, Matt Carwick. And they've been playing a phenomenal game so far. They're shooting the ball extremely well, and they're winning the ground ball battle. They're winning the game in between the lines right now. Syracuse hasn't had a lot of flow on the offensive end. I don't think that their defense has been terrible. There's been a couple lapses or slow slides here and there. The goaltender for Syracuse, like we've talked about, has been playing a strong game, but there's still a lot of time left here. 11:32 in the fourth quarter. Syracuse down 3. You know, coming out of a timeout, what you're telling your squad is, hey, we got to play with a lot of energy. We got to play with a lot of passion, and we need a big-time stop right now. And, we'll see if Syracuse responds to the message by the coaches on the Syracuse coaching staff. Colgate now is in a position here on the offensive end. They shouldn't be in too much of a hurry to do anything. You want to be taking more full shot clocks, and you're making Syracuse try to chase you to the finish line here.
Last year, Syracuse scored 17 goals against Colgate. It was a 17-5 win for the Orange. Turn the page 9 months later, and the Orange are in danger of losing to their opponent from Hamilton, New York. Good defensive stand from Syracuse on this possession.
See right there, though, that's got to be a ground ball by Syracuse.
It's the hustle plays that are making the difference. Cunningham will try to clear it himself, and he does, making a couple men miss in the process. Now it's Kennedy. He's got that aggressive offensive mind with a long pole. He'll attack straight to the cage and finish. Brett Kennedy has got the offensive arsenal and put it on full display.
I've talked about him several times throughout the course of the game and talked about the talent that he has. Even though he's carrying a long stick, he has a very good understanding of what it takes to score goals, free up your hands. And look at that awesome stick protection as he's taking that ball underneath the defense and just pulls it out at the last second and places one over Mullen's shoulder for a big-time goal for the Cuse.
Fopp is in to duel with Feeney. It's been a combination of Varello and Fopp in this game. The two have won a combined 9 faceoffs. And there's number 10, Jacob Fopp, gains possession and a big face-off win. His team down by 2, still 10.5 minutes to play. A lot of time to cut into that deficit and try to either tie it or take the lead. Mellon looking for an outlet, he finds one. It's Lucas Quinn. What can Lucas Quinn do? He attacks on the left side and throws it right to Connor Mullen.
Again, that's Lucas Quinn there really early in the shot clock, and that is just not a very good shot. It's stick side high. It's with his left hand. He's from about 12 or 13 yards. You got to wait, get the ball around, touch it up, get it to some of your primetime players, and let them go to work. Trying to do too much way too early in the shot clock.
Griffin Cook is in, and he's got the ball in his cross. Nice feed in front. Voigt missed it. Solomon was there.
Great look by Griffin Cook there to Voigt. Like to see Voigt come with a nice overhand bounce shot there in that situation.
Solomon to Cook. Griffin Cook. A lot of movement. Voigt again in front. Can't control the pass. Colgate picks it up. And it flies out of play. Syracuse with a nice job to keep it in their half of the field and keep offensive possession.
Get the ball back to Griffin Cook here, number 2 up top, and let him go to work. He's having success right here against the short stick D midi. He's creating and making things happen.
Quinn.
They'll roll back. They're going to get this up to Cook, I believe, and let him do a little dance here and go to work.
Instead, it's Curry attacking. A nice shot out of the stick of Curry was deflected. Should be a reset. It is. Fresh 80 for Syracuse as Solomon will start things up. Just past that end zone here on the Carrier Dome turf. Errant pass. Floats towards midfield. Cook retrieves it. John Desko said he's never going to take a play off. He'll never take a minute off. He is all hustle all the time. A 5'7" freshman from Janesville DeWitt right here in Syracuse. Lobs a pass to Rafis.
Good change up here. They're bringing Trimboli in. I like these 6 offensive players that they got out here right now. All of them can create and make something happen with the ball.
Rafis, who's been quiet today, Syracuse's leader in points a season ago. Here's Solomon. Couple of dancing in front. Looking for Cook. He couldn't control it, and instead Colgate does with Salameda. Colgate with a quick offensive possession, and a bounce shot goes home. The Raiders are back on the board, courtesy of Will Blumenberg.
Big time turnover there by number 2, Cook. Got to control the ball. Got to make sure that you catch the ball. He's ready to make something happen. Took his eye off it a little bit too early, and that one stings coming the other way. Stay focused. Keep your head in the game. Pass and catch at a high level like you've always done throughout your career. But here he is in his freshman year. First game. Little learning experience. But that's a big-time turnover by Syracuse. And in the other end and in the transition, a big-time goal by Colgate.
And a big-time face-off win for Malcolm Feeney after Will Blumenberg put his first goal of the year in. Nate Solomon responds. A hat trick for the senior. Nate Solomon has come alive and dominated the second half on the offensive side of the field. His team is within 2. First it was Blumenberg. Solomon picks up the loose change and brings it back in his pocket. Syracuse back within 2.
Get 4 lines of unlimited data for $100 a month at Cricket. Ooh, someone's having a good hair day. Smile, you're on Cricket.
The unmistakable Cadillac XT4. Once again, driving is joyful. Starting under $36,000.
Syracuse fans may not like it, they may not have expected it, but we've got a thriller on our hands at the Carrier Dome in the season opener between SU and Colgate. Drew Carter, Adam Unger. We'll be with you after the game. Adam, this one's intense.
Yeah, and you thought Colgate got the dagger with that 10th goal, but Nate Solomon put in that new rule to the test, that crease dive rule. Still had to tiptoe around, but he's brought the Orange back to life.
We'll talk about that. We'll take a look around the ACC, an interview with our player of the game, all that post-game, but for now, the intense finish. We go back to the Dome. Noah Eagle, Ryan Powell, take us home.
Thanks so much, Drew. Nate Solomon with a hat trick all here in the second half, has his team within 2. They're called the Cardiac Qs for a reason. 18 of Syracuse's last 29 games have been decided by 1 goal coming into this season. Pretty remarkable. Those close games just seem to be magnetic to this program, to this team in the last few years, and it looks like we're well on our way to another one tonight.
Just under 8 minutes, everything gets amplified that much more and becomes that much more important. Every face-off, every ground ball, every possession here in the late stages of the fourth quarter are super important. So an experienced offensive unit out of Syracuse. I expect them to be patient, poised, and create good shots.
Jacob Fopp has been an unsung hero coming off the bench and winning faceoffs for the Orange. He wins another one. Now Lipka and company have a chance to cut in even further and make it a one-goal game. Just past the midway mark in this fourth quarter. Nate Solomon just brought it back within 2 with a diving goal. Another one goes for Brendan Curry. A sidewinding shot, and Curry has a hat trick in his first game of 2019.
Unbelievable lacrosse pedigree in this kid's family. His father's one of the best ever do it. 16, gets his hands free and lets it fly again. He's been pinging them off the crossbars to the back of the net all night. Here's another perfect example. Huge goal by number 16, Curry. Huge goal for Syracuse.
Brendan Curry, the sophomore, son of Todd, 3-time All-American at Syracuse, making a name for himself here. Brings number 10 back within 1. And Fopp stays out there. He's had a little bit more success than Varello has today. Feeney has been the constant at the X for Colgate, but Fopp wins it again. It's the little things that Syracuse is starting to pick up on here in the fourth quarter. Kennedy and Dearth play catch, and now Syracuse is in business offensively.
Get number 16 out there again and give him the ball.
And there he is.
You stick with your hot hands. This guy's on fire right now. He's going by people. I always love those teams that get the ball back with what's working and do it again. Make them stop you.
Curry turning defenders around, made a man fall on the ground. Lipka will try. He goes right into the cross of Connor Mullen. Easy clear for Colgate. And now they might burn a little bit of clock. 70 seconds to work with, up by 1.
Lipka, 20, and then Lucas Quinn. These guys cannot shoot stick side high. They're going right into the goaltender's stick. Better shot selection. Don't be afraid to come overhand with a high, hard one to the low corners.
Hawkins, little shimmy shake on Lipka. He gets it back. Can't control the pass from Cleveland, but he picks it up anyway. When you have the hot hand, like Curry doesn't, you had that plenty of times when you played. What were you telling your teammates? How do you get them to get you the ball?
Oh, you just get more vocal. You start calling for it. You really want it.
Saved by Drake Porter. And now Syracuse with a chance to give Curry that hot hand the ball. Solomon, keep in mind, also has a hat trick all here in the second half. Those two have been constant offense in the third and fourth quarters. But it's going to be Trimboli instead. Now Rafis. We haven't really called his name a great deal today. Solomon we have.
Syracuse has had great success right now with Curry. They're going to put a pull on him. So I like number 2, Griffin Cook, in this matchup against a short stick to create and make a good feed.
There's the feed. Trimboli in front for Voigt, using his body, and he ran into a swarm of Colgate defenders. A lot of contact, and a flag comes in late. Rafis picks it up, but it's going to go against the Orange. We'll see what the call is here. There was a ton of contact in that scrum for the ball, and here's the call.
Wait, number 12, 30 seconds.
So push on Trimboli, 30-second man-up opportunity for Colgate, already up 1.
Yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, that's a good call. But it's also a good aggressive play by Trimboli. Those things happen in lacrosse. He's given his heart and effort to the play and caught him in the back a little bit. So not the worst penalty that I've ever seen by any means, but a great opportunity for Colgate here with already a 1-goal lead, getting underneath 5 minutes and late in the fourth quarter. So again, pressure on the Syracuse defense to get a stop.
And they can't do it. Duncan Hoskinson with his 3rd goal of the night. And Colgate back up 2.
Syracuse man down unit has played pretty phenomenally all night. Just a little bit late on that one. Way too much time, way too close into the cage, and a perfectly placed shot down to the lower part of the cage. Gives Colgate some serious success and a huge goal here in the late stages of the fourth quarter.
Fopp stays in. The cardiac Cuse trying to perform some more magic in the Carrier Dome tonight. Down to unranked Colgate. Fopp pushed to the ground. That's not allowed. You can't do that. Malcolm Feeney thought he got away with it, but Syracuse takes possession, and Kennedy will race it up the field. So Cuse gives up a goal to Hoskinson. Last time they did that, Solomon came back and responded with one of his own. Curry's been the hot hand in this fourth quarter. Who will have their name called down the stretch, approaching 4 minutes to play, the team down by 2. A lot can happen in this final 4 minutes. Number 10, Syracuse, working the ball around. It's Lucas Quinn. He's not afraid to shoot it. Instead, it's going to be Trimboli. He fires to Rafis. Rafis guarded by Ryan Cayley, the junior. Really working his way around, and he got it stripped. Donahue comes away. Great recovery from Colgate, and they clear. Curry doing anything he can defensively, but McDonald too skilled with the stick. And there's another penalty marker. So another free possession for Colgate. And now the Raiders will get another man-up opportunity where they just scored.
16 white, technical push. 16 white, technical push.
So it is Curry.
I mean, at this stage of the game, making that call, I'm not so sure about that one. That seemed a little ticky-tack to me. But, nonetheless, here we go. Colgate's on the man up, and Syracuse desperately needs a stop right here on this possession.
Let's see how they can get it done. Still have their defensive guys out there. That includes number 11, Austin Fusco, the long stick mid, who's a tremendous player in his own right, a captain this year for Syracuse. 30 seconds gone by, and now that's full strength. So not even a shot on net in that man-up opportunity for Colgate. Syracuse has back even, but the Raiders are draining as much clock as possible. A switch here. Cleveland gets the assignment against Grant Murphy for Syracuse. So not what the Orange necessarily want against the 6'5" attack, Sam Cleveland. They'll give it up. Hoskinson has a hat trick on the day already. Now Brown attacking the net. Porter's there. Drake Porter makes a tremendous save. Brown keeps it, and a fresh restart for Colgate. They can drain a lot more clock here. Syracuse needs to play aggressive defensively. Petkovic doubled, using the speed against Bomberry. Bomberry uses the height, but to no avail. Petkovic fires at the net. It was empty, and he finds the back. Drake Porter was sleeping. Petkovic was wide awake. Colgate up 3.
Well, Syracuse is, back against the wall. They had to get the goaltender out of there. They're trying to play lock off. They're being super aggressive. Left the cage wide open. Would have liked to see Drake be a little bit closer to his home base there, so if a shot was released, he could still get back in between the pipes. But, when you're down 2 and you're under 2 minutes. You got to do some stuff like that. Be super aggressive in those situations. So tough one for Syracuse right there, but still a minute 30 left in the game. Let's see what happens.
Jacob Fopp had it momentarily. Kennedy fighting for it. Whistle. And it's going Colgate's direction. The last thing Syracuse needed was to turn it back over to the Raiders. Colgate is on the verge of upsetting Syracuse for the first time in over a decade. Fernandez comes away with it. The Orange still have a heartbeat. Rafis needs to be aggressive and shoot it pretty quickly here. And a timeout, John Desko wants to draw something up. 1:02 on the clock. Syracuse at number 10 in the country, down by 3 to Colgate, who hasn't beaten them in over a decade, hasn't won here since 2007. And a man keeping Syracuse in this game, Brendan Curry.
Yeah, I don't think they've gone to him enough tonight, to be honest with you. He seemed to have the hot hand and just explosive off the dodge. Got great speed. He's been shooting the ball excellent all night. And, unfortunately, hasn't got enough touches out here tonight. And you're certainly trying to get a lot of guys involved and get production out of a lot of different guys. But Curry was certainly on fire all night.
Nicky Petkovic, 4 goals on the game. He had 9 all of last year, and he's done it in a variety of ways for the Raiders. He's really the entire heartbeat of this offense, especially in this second half.
Yeah, he's played great in the second half. Good lacrosse IQ. He's a good shooter, good dodger, tough kid, and caps one off with a nice bounce shot right there on the open netter. So he's played himself a nice game tonight. The one thing that I would say about the personnel here and the one switch that seemed to work the best, it happened in the second quarter. Coach Desko and his staff ended up putting Nick Mellon on Cleveland, and we haven't heard from Cleveland since. So that matchup obviously works. Maybe a little bit too late putting him on that matchup, and I don't know if they're scared of the size, but he has certainly shut the door on their top offensive player, Cleveland, number 18. But Nicky has stepped up in the meantime and handled the load.
Bad start to this possession for Syracuse as Curry with a miscommunication. Mellon takes it over himself. Precious time is ticking away. Curry. 40 seconds left now. Trimboli fires, and a save made by Connor Mullen. He's been spectacular tonight in net for Colgate. Last year, 17-5, Mullen struggled. This year, 12-9, Colgate in front. Mullen has been fantastic. Porter comes away with a great play. 20 seconds to play in game number 1 of the 2019 season. Trimboli. Lipka. Inside feed. And no good. Steven Rafis had the opportunity, can't finish it. And Colgate, in their first game in a new era under head coach Matt Carwick, upset the number 10 team in the country. Their first win versus Syracuse in over a decade, and their first win here in the Carrier Dome since 2007. The final score, the Raiders 12, the Orange 9.
This is a tough one right here for Syracuse for sure out of the gates, but take your hats off to Colgate. They came in with a great alumni base here in the Dome. Showed a lot of spirit all night. From the opening whistle until the closing minute, they really executed a good game plan. They stayed aggressive on the offensive end all the way until late in the fourth quarter, even when they had a lead. I thought they would be a little bit more patient, but Coach kept the hammer down. The team responded. They got good play out of the defense. They got good play out of the offense and executed their game plan perfectly.
Final score here, Colgate 12, number 10 Syracuse 9. Matt Carwick starts out with a bang. For postgame, let's go to the ACC Network Extra studios.
Okay, Noah Eagle and Ryan Powell, great job, guys. Thanks so much. Syracuse lacrosse 0-1 for the second time in 23 years. They dropped their opener in regulation for the first time under John Desko in more than 2 decades. Breaking it down now on our ACC on ESPN postgame show. Drew Carter back with Adam Unger. And
on the cage, if not more.
And you heard him post-game there. I mean, it's kind of hard to describe the emotions because for Colgate, this is a team that had